Moving on after the loss of a significant other is really challenging because you're facing some situations that you never really thought you'd ever have to face because your loved one was your person. So let's walk together and I'll share with you some ways that you can navigate carrying on with your life after the loss of a significant other. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm Eric, and it's my goal with these videos to share everything I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of a loved one. If this grief tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future, so be sure to save this video to watch later on. Today's question comes from Kymberly, who asked me, it's been 2 years since my husband passed away, and I'm talking to a new man, and I have so many emotions, and I feel guilty. Is this normal? And so Kymberly, I really appreciate this question, because when you are struggling with the loss of a significant other, it's not as though the relationship broke down, especially if you had a healthy relationship or even somewhat healthy relationship with them. There isn't a relationship out there that's perfect, but let's assume for the purpose of this video that you had a good relationship with your husband. And it's not as though that relationship broke down. He passed away. There are a lot of uncertainties, a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of unsaid things that I'm sure run through your mind. And it can be really challenging when you're trying to navigate this particular loss. I remember talking to a coaching client of mine, I'll call her Tina, and she lost her husband. And she was really struggling with the fact that because he was so much her person and vice versa, and how fast he died, she was not prepared to even consider going into another relationship. I don't know where she is today. This was a few years ago, but it is something that as a spouse, losing someone that you thought, maybe you thought you would go first type of thing. But here you are in this situation where you're now having to carry on without this person. And part of carrying on in life is to know that love is ever abundant, and there may be another relationship that comes down the road. Even if this is new for you in terms of your loss, and you may be feeling like you're never going to get into another relationship, and that's okay. That's normal. It's also normal to feel guilty, because what is this? This is just your reminder that the love for your husband who passed is still present. And by the way, that love doesn't have to go away. It's not the same as, when you're dating somebody else and potentially getting romantically involved and all of that, and building a relationship, a friendship with somebody, because love is ever abundant, and, it's not easy as we're trying to navigate these days and weeks after our loved one. It's hard enough grief by itself. But here we are now with potentially some new emotions and feelings that we weren't ever expecting to be feeling. And so here's my tip for today, that if you're approaching a new relationship and you're not sure how you're going to be able to navigate that, or you're feeling guilty, I have a simple tip for you, and it's this: take one day at a time. Take one conversation at a time. Take one step at a time. Okay, that's 3 tips, but I think you get the gist. It's just doing one thing the next in a row. We can't walk the entire journey in one day, but we can walk the next step in front of us, and that's all that we have access to. So as always, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as this is one of the best ways to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for the channel. Let's continue to walk together, and I'll see you in next week's video.